The captain's voice crackles over the intercom, announcing our descent into Keflavik International Airport, and I press my nose against the window like an overexcited kid. Iceland unfolds below me, a land that looks like it was created by the gods in a particularly dramatic mood. Dark volcanic rocks stretch endlessly with patches of green moss stubbornly clinging to the ancient lava fields. And there it is, the Blue Lagoon. From up here, it looks like someone spilled a cup of giant turquoise milk into a black bowl. Steam rises lazily into the cold air, making it feel like the world's biggest natural hot tub. It's my first visit to Iceland, the land of fire and ice, a place where volcanoes and glaciers hang out like old frenemies. It's also my 44th and final UN-recognized country in Europe. Over the next 4 days, I'll be driving a rental car with winter tires, exploring the dramatic landscapes of West Iceland, and diving into names I can barely pronounce. Gullfoss, Þingvellir, and Qvaragerði. Seriously, people call their language the most difficult to learn for a reason. They say this island is a photographer's dream, and I can already see why. From waterfalls that look like they're straight out of a fantasy novel, to geysers erupting like Mother Earth is showing off, Iceland promises jaw-dropping sights at every turn. And with my luck, I'll probably find myself getting tongue-tied trying to ask for directions to Þingvellir. Don't ask me to say that twice. As the plane dips, I can't but help smiling from ear to ear. After exploring every corner of Europe, it feels poetic to end my European chapter in this wild, untamed land. They say that you should save the best for last, and Iceland is ready to prove it.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Iceland.
My name is Palabo, and this is the Radio Vagabond. Iceland, fire, ice, and unpronounceable adventures.
Meet Palabo. At the age of 50, he made a bold decision. He sold everything and set out on a quest to visit every country in the world. This is the Radio Vagabond.
Happy New Year!
And also, welcome back to a new season of the Radio Vagabond. Well, actually, we kicked it off a few days ago with one of the interviews I did at the Extraordinary Travel Festival in Bangkok recently. In that episode, I spoke to some amazing young travelers, all in their 20s. And in the next interview episode, I'm going to speak to some older travelers. Yeah, some of them are even older than me. Can you imagine? But this is one of the regular travel episodes. And as I mentioned, from Iceland. As soon as I landed and got my rental car, I took a small detour.
Listen. It's so quiet here. You shouldn't guess that I'm on my way to the biggest tourist attraction in Iceland. And it was actually from the air flying into Reykjavik Airport that I saw it from above, the Blue Lagoon. And since it's not that much out of the way on my way from the airport to my Airbnb in downtown Reykjavik, I thought I'd make a small detour and get a stop here at the Blue Lagoon to see what it is up close. I've heard so much about it. There's a new modern building here at the Blue Lagoon that I'm about to go into, and then I think it's on the other side. They have the pools that people can swim in. But there's also a little lake here, and it caught my eye because, yeah, I see why they call it the Blue Lagoon. It is light blue, and it's got something white on the bottom of the lake. I wonder if this is hot. Let me see if I can try. Not really hot.
The Blue Lagoon is one of Iceland's most iconic attractions, and for a good reason. Placed in a huge black lava field just a short drive away from Keflavik Airport, this milky blue geothermal spa Looks like something out of a sci-fi movie. Even if you don't have time to take a dip, like me, it's absolutely worth a stop just to marvel at its surreal beauty. The water gets its vibrant color from silica and other minerals, which not only gives the lagoon its unique color, but are also believed to have skin-healing properties. Steam rises from the warm water, creating an almost mythical atmosphere, especially in the cooler month when the air is crisp. You can feel the magic of Iceland as you stand there, soaking in the views, even if you're just wandering around the site. If you plan to go for a swim, booking in advance is an absolute must. The Blue Lagoon is wildly popular, and tickets can sell out days, sometimes weeks in advance. You can make a reservation directly on their website. It's bluelagoon.com, where you can also book different packages depending on whether you're looking for a basic soak or a full-on spa experience with face masks and drinks.
I'm not planning to go swimming, even though it looks fantastic. Instead, I just walk through the cafe, and then they have a patio out back with a glass wall into the swimming pool area. And there are a lot of people in the hot water right now, enjoying the hot pool here at the Blue Lagoon. I didn't buy tickets. It was a spur of the moment that I decided to go out here, and you have to book it in advance. And I don't really have time to do it, even though it might be possible to get a ticket. But I'm not prepared for that. But it looks wonderful.
So visiting the Blue Lagoon on your way from the airport is an excellent idea, and it's conveniently located between Keflavik Airport and Reykjavik. I found it a perfect introduction to Iceland's geothermal wonders, or you can end your visit with a soothing send-off after a week of exploring. No matter if you're dipping your toes in the water or just snapping photos in the natural marvel, it's a stop you won't regret.
And now, facts about where we are.
Iceland is a Nordic island nation located in the North Atlantic Ocean, just south of the Arctic Circle. It sits between Greenland and mainland Europe, making it a gateway between continents.
How big and how many people?
Iceland covers an area of approximately 103,000 kilometers, almost 40,000 square miles, making it about the size of Hungary or South Korea. Despite the size, it has a small population of only around 376,000 people, with more than 2/3 living in the capital Reykjavik and its surrounding areas. And there are more sheep than people, around 800,000 of them.
Official languages.
The official language is Icelandic, a Nordic language that has remained largely unchanged since medieval times, and crazy difficult. More on that later. But almost all Icelanders speak English fluently, making it easy for visitors to communicate. In school, Icelandic children typically learn Danish and often pick up additional languages like German, French, or Spanish. Iceland is a well-established democracy with free and fair elections. It consistently ranks as one of the most democratic countries in the world and places high in global freedom indexes. Iceland has a rich economy with very good quality of life. People here earn about as much as those in Norway, Switzerland, or the United States. The economy is strong because of fishing, tourism, technology, and renewable energy like geothermal power. Iceland is also known as one of the happiest countries in the world and a great place to live.
Cost of living.
But Iceland is expensive. It almost always ranks as one of the most expensive countries in the world. Groceries, dining out, and accommodation can take a hefty chunk of your budget, but the spectacular landscapes make it worth every penny.
Religion.
The majority of Icelanders, around 60%, belong to the Evangelical Lutheran Church of Iceland, but religion plays a minimal role in the daily life of most Icelanders.
The flag.
The Icelandic flag features a red cross outlined in white and a blue field symbolizing Iceland's connection to Scandinavia, the cross, its volcanic activity, red, ice and snow, white, and the surrounding ocean, blue.
What's the typical local food?
Icelandic cuisine is based around fresh, high-quality ingredients. Must-try include plokkfiskur, a comforting fish stew, skyr, a creamy, protein-rich dairy product similar to yogurt, and lamb hot dogs. Hot dogs that Bill Clinton declared the best hot dog in the world. If you're a more adventurous eater, you can try hakal, fermented shark.
Famous people from here.
Vigdís Finnbogadóttir, the world's first democratically elected female president. That was all the way back in 1980, and she served for 16 years. We also have the funk band Mezzoforte, I really love those guys, and of course, Björk, the globally celebrated musician known for her unique voice and experimental sound.
Famous proverb from here.
Blind is the one who sees not afar. A reminder to think beyond immediate circumstances. Better to wear out shoes than sheets. Encouraging an active life rather than laziness. And the more you know, the more you dare. Knowledge builds courage.
And that was Facts About Where We Are.
Those were some hardcore facts about Iceland. Coming up, 6 things that Iceland doesn't have. Plus some fun facts, the OG of geysers, and snorkeling in ice-cold water. We'll be right back.
This is the Radio Vagabond podcast.
This episode is brought to you in part by Hotels25.com.
How does Hotels25.com actually make money?
Right.
What's the catch?
Well, there's not necessarily a catch.
Okay.
They're working on commission.
So they get a cut
Yeah.
when someone books through them.
Exactly. Every time someone books a flight or a hotel
Okay.
through their platform,
Makes sense.
they're getting a little piece of that.
They got to make money somehow.
Yeah, you got to keep the lights on, right?
Right, exactly.
It's a business.
It's a business. It's not a charity.
Exactly.
Hotels25.com.
He's the radio vagabond with tales at every face, charting maps, unknowing man. He's got it made. He's got it made. These vagabond shoes, they're blazing his crusade. Every step, every story, gotta keep moving.
If you have enough time in Iceland, driving the Ring Road or Route 1 is the ultimate adventure for those wanting to see as much of this incredible country as possible. It's a 1,300 kilometer loop, around 800 miles, that circles the entire island, taking you through some ever-changing landscapes of glaciers, waterfalls, lava fields, and black sand beaches. This route showcases some of the best natural wonders Iceland has to offer, from dramatic cliffs of the East Fjords to the stunning glacial lagoon in the south. Driving the Ring Road isn't just about the destination, it's the journey itself. One moment you're passing through fields of lupines under the shadow of a towering volcano, the next you're stopping to watch puffins dive from coastal cliffs. You know, those small, adorable seabirds known for their colorful beaks and striking black and white feathers. Often they're called the clowns of the sea or sea parrots. Every turn offers something breathtaking. For the full Ring Road experience, you want at least 7 to 10 days. That gives you time to stop, explore, and soak in the beauty without feeling rushed. But you can still get a taste of it by focusing on shorter segments of the route if you have less time, like me. You see, I only have 4 days in Iceland, so tackling the entire Ring Road wasn't in the cards for me this time. Instead, I opted for the famous Golden Circle route, a perfect option for shorter trips. This is one of Iceland's most famous travel experiences, a 300-kilometer loop that takes me through some of the country's most awe-inspiring landscapes and iconic attractions. Starting in Reykjavik is the ultimate day trip for anyone looking to soak in Iceland's natural beauty and history. The journey begins at Þingvellir National Park, a UNESCO World Heritage Site where the North American and the Eurasian tectonic plates meet.
There are no two ways about it. The Icelandic language is hard. I'm at the place that's spelled Þingvellir, and I just spoke to a woman selling tickets to the visitor center and had her say how it's said. Yes, I need to, just so I can hear it. How do I say it?
Þingvellir.
Þingvellir.
Yes, correct.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's so difficult. I know. And so different. And that was maybe 5 minutes ago, and now I can't even remember. Anyway, I'm here now, and it's a massive area. I thought it was just, okay, you drive up at a parking lot, you walk for a bit, and then boom, that's it. But there are so many pathways, and there's so much to see here. It's absolutely stunning and truly, truly Iceland.
Þingvellir is one of the most fascinating spots in Iceland. And that's saying something in a country where almost every corner has its own jaw-dropping story. It's a national park that's not just about the scenic beauty, although, trust me, it's got plenty of that, but also a place steeped in history and science. Picture this, a vast plain with cracks tearing through the land, exactly where the North American and the Eurasian tectonic plates are slowly drifting apart. Yeah, you're literally walking between continents here. The scenery is dramatic, jagged rocks, crystal clear streams, and the kind of cinematic views that makes you feel like you've just wandered into a fantasy film set. If Game of Thrones vibes are your thing, you're in luck because parts of the show was filmed here. And it's not just about geology. Þingvellir is also the birthplace of democracy.
Let's look in the history book.
Over 1,000 years ago, Vikings gathered here for their annual Alþingi, the world's first parliament. It was established in 930 AD, adding a rich historic layer to the stunning scenery. Can you imagine fierce Viking warriors with big beards debating law, probably over a jug of mead in this stunning open-air assembly? The echo of those gatherings are still in the air, making this spot a fascinating blend of natural wonder and human history.
I met Þingvellir and
I meet Solar, a woman who's working here at the visitor center.
And it's a national park. And just to make it clear that you're not the official spokesperson for this national park.
No, I'm not. But
You're an Icelandic.
I'm an Icelandic person, yeah.
Yeah.
And I love the place.
Yeah, and we're not that far away from Reykjavik, and this was something that went on my list as some of the first things I needed to see when I was here in Iceland. I only have a few days, unfortunately, this time, and this is stunning nature, and it's so Iceland. Do you agree?
Oh, yeah. It's amazing place, and the Icelandic people have been coming here every summer since the settlement. For many years, for many centuries, they came because they had the parliament, but they also came to just meet each other, to have a good time for 2 weeks every summer.
Yeah, I was just about to say that because I read someplace that this was the first parliament of Iceland out here.
Yeah.
In the middle of nowhere.
Yeah, you're right. And I think the one who found the place, he was very clever because it was easy to access from every other side of the country, from the north, from the south, from the far east, and the people who lived in the far east, they have to have like over a week just to get here.
Yeah.
So it was a long journey.
Yeah.
And then they stayed for 2 weeks and then back home. So, and middle of summer, you know.
Yeah.
A bit crazy.
Totally.
But horse riding through the country over all these big glaciers, rivers, not very easy even today.
No.
People have tried, and it's amazing that they did it, I must say.
The place has a quiet, calming energy, perfect for a reflective stroll or, let's be honest, a couple of great Instagram shots. Þingvellir is one of those places that hits you differently. It's not just a stop on the Golden Circle route, it's a monument in history, a marvel in nature, and a reminder of how awe-inspiring our world can be. But there's more on the Golden Circle. Just wait till you hear about Gullfossen Glacier, but we'll get to that. So this is my last country in Europe, and I've been holding up on coming to Iceland, but it's been on my list for so long. What would you say that is typical Iceland?
Well, of course, the summer night where you have no night is an amazing thing, because it's a night, but it's still light.
Yeah, and I know we're in early May right now, and I can see that I looked on the app, and it says that the day is getting 4 minutes longer, or no, 8 minutes, 4 minutes in the morning and 4 minutes in the night. And right now the sun comes up really early at around 5 o'clock and sets at maybe 10:30 or something like that at night. So already now in early May it's long, but it gets even longer.
Oh yeah, I mean in June, around the 20th of June, it's the same day and night, and that's something unique. But I mean the landscape, you just drive for a few hours, not an hour, maybe 15 minutes, and then you have like a new nature, a different nature. So it's also something interesting.
Yeah, but about the light in the winter, it gets very dark.
Yeah, but when we have snow, it's easier because it brightens up, and we are crazy about Christmas lights. So like people have Christmas lights in every window almost. So it's, you get used to it. Cozy. You just, some people find it difficult with the darkness, but for me, no.
More from Solar in a bit, where we talk about the cold weather and scuba diving. But I promised you 6 things they don't have here, and here they are. Despite its wetlands and mild summers, Iceland has no mosquitoes. Not a single one.
No mosquitoes, not a single one.
Another thing they don't have, McDonald's.
No Big Mac or fries, no Mickey D, not a single one.
McDonald's left Iceland in 2009, and the country hasn't had a single location since. Not a single one. The last burger and fries sold here were put on display in a glass case at the National Museum of Iceland.
No way, you won't find that here, not a single one.
Also, the country has no military force, relying on NATO for defense, and it's considered one of the most peaceful places on Earth, but no soldiers. Not a single one.
No soldiers, not a single one.
It's the only European country with no railway system. There are no trains on Iceland. Say it with me.
Not a single one. Trains, no way, you won't find that here, not a single one.
And there are no last names in the Icelandic phone book. Well, they don't really use phone books nowadays, but when they did, it listed people by their first name, followed by their profession or address. No last names. This is because most Icelanders don't have family surnames. Instead, they use a system where they take the father's first name and add son or daughter. So, say a man named Jón has a son, the son's last name would be Jónsson. Or a daughter, she would get the last name Jónsdóttir, Jón's daughter.
Interesting naming system. Iceland is funny that way. Not a single one.
And finally, the Icelandic police don't typically carry guns. Iceland has one of the lowest crime rates in the world, so the need for firearms are minimal. But they do have a special armed police unit that's trained to handle situations that require firearms. This unit is called, wait for it, the Viking Squad. I'm not kidding. But overall, Iceland is one of the safest countries and has one of the lowest crime rates in the world. Many people don't even lock their doors.
No guns in the hands of the cops, not a single one, unless you're in the Viking Squad.
The Radio Vagabond. Gotta keep moving.
We'll be right back. First, a few words about what I do when I'm not doing the Radio Vagabond.
This is a guy who's been crafting compelling audio for decades.
It makes you wonder, though, what's it actually like to work with him? Is he, really intense in person?
From everything I've read, he's actually very collaborative. It's not about him imposing his vision on you. It's about working together to bring your vision to life in the best way possible.
So it's more like he's your podcasting Sherpa or something, guiding you to the summit.
Exactly. He's there to offer his expertise, to push you creatively, but ultimately, it's your story to tell.
It makes you feel a little better. Because honestly, after learning all of this, I kind of want to start a podcast now.
You should.
Just to see what kind of magic we could create together. Is that weird? It's like suddenly I could hear all these sounds in my head, all these stories just waiting to be told.
And that's the beauty of podcasting, isn't it? It's such a powerful medium, and it's only getting bigger.
So, for anyone listening who's feeling that same spark, maybe it's time to dust off that podcast idea you've been sitting on. Or, if you've already got a podcast, but you're looking to level up, really take it to the next level.
Well, sounds like Pally Go might be the guy to talk to.
He might just be the missing piece of the puzzle.
Let's make some audio magic together. Drop me a line and let's get started. You can see more on my company's website, radioguru.co.uk.
Good afternoon.
Can I help you?
Yes, my name is Bond.
Radio Vagabond.
Obviously, something that a reason for people to come in the winter is the Northern Lights, because that's only in the winter.
Yeah, they are, of course, up in the sky, but you don't see them if it's bright. So you need the darkness. And
so if I go outside at 2 o'clock tonight, would I be able to see anything?
Well, I was just checking the Aurora Borealis forecast on weather.is, and tonight, no. But we have a forecast for the Northern Lights. So you can just check.
Okay. On weather.is?
Yeah. Called Aurora Borealis. Yeah. It's very good. And we are crazy about weather forecast.
And now for the weather.
Radio Vagabond weather.
The Iceland weather. A topic as unpredictable as a balloon trying to navigate in a windstorm. If you're planning a trip, here's the lowdown. Iceland doesn't really do extremes, unless you count the wind that can slap you sideways like an unruly Viking. Winter temperatures? Surprisingly mild for a country with ice in its name, hovering around -1 to 4 degrees Celsius, 30 to 39 Fahrenheit. And the summer, a cool 10 to 15 degrees Celsius, 50 to 59 Fahrenheit. So leave your tank tops at home unless you're really committed to shivering stylishly.
Take a jacket. It's a bit chilly out there.
Now let's talk about daylight. In the winter, Iceland gets as much sun as a Netflix binge watcher. Just 4 to 5 hours a day. But come summer, the sun pulls an all-nighter, refusing to set. They call it the midnight sun, and it's as magical as it's confusing when you're trying to figure out if it's 3 a.m. or 3 p.m. So, when's the best time to visit? Well, if you love chasing the northern lights, aim for winter. But if you prefer hiking without an ice pick and want to see Iceland in full bloom, yeah, it has flowers, not just moss. Summer is for you. Just be prepared for all 4 seasons in a day. Rain, shine, wind, and the occasional sideways sleet. That's just Iceland keeping you on your toes. To sum it up, despite being this close to the Arctic, and ice is in the name, their summers are mild, and thanks to the Gulf Stream, the winters are not as freezing as you'd expect. In fact, Iceland is greener than Greenland, and Greenland has more ice than Iceland.
We are crazy about weather forecast.
Yeah.
Everything is about weather here.
Yeah.
But you know, if you have a raincoat, when are you going to use it?
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
And it's drizzling a little bit, not raining hard, but chilly and almost kind of snowish. But is that normal for this time of year?
Yeah, well, yeah, I can say yes and no, because nothing is normal for the time of this year. Of the springtime, it's always like they are fighting King Winter and the Queen of Summer. We only have summer and winter. We don't really talk about spring in Iceland. So in the old days, we had the first day of summer. It's about the 21st of April. And the last day of summer is then in September. And then winter start.
Okay.
So
we're in the summer now.
Yeah, we are in the summer, yeah.
Oh. That's it for the first of 4 episodes from Iceland. Have you been here? Do you want to go here? Well, I'm sure you want to go after having heard all 4 episodes. I know that I, after having worked on these, really want to go back. There's so much more to see that I didn't get a chance to do on my short visit. In the next one, we'll hear more from Sola about snorkeling and scuba diving in the cold water. I'll take you to Geysir, who gave the name to the word geyser all over the world, and Gullfoss, one of the most stunning waterfalls I've ever seen. And I've seen quite a few. You'll also get to meet 3 other locals that all have some cool insights about their country. And also about the fact that everybody knows everybody and might even be related without knowing it. Hear how the creative Icelanders solved that with a unique Icelandic dating app. So we got a lot in the next one. And before that, I have another cool interview from the Extraordinary Travel Festival. Before, during and after the festival, I had the opportunity to sit down with some amazing travelers that I hope that you'll also find inspiring and interesting, even if you don't have any ambition to travel to every country in the world. And in the next interview episode, I'm sitting down with 4 incredible people in their senior years who've been exploring the world for decades. From Anne London's days as a ship doctor helping patients across the globe.
You can mention any illness and I've seen it on board. And it's never boring.
To Jane Eagleson's journey through a war-torn Cambodia.
And then when I got to Angkor Wat and there were only 9 people there, I look back now and think, how lucky could I be? There was 9 of us, and there was a guide that had been assigned to us.
You'll also meet Jeff Casey, who's traveled to 197 countries, territories, and autonomous regions, blending his aviation career with a passion for unique experiences.
So my job, the impetus was my job because I was traveling so much. But then it became sort of a thing between the 3 of us.
And Janet Heinz, who's biked across the Sahara Desert and nearly ran over Jimmy Carter.
So one day I was backing up the Bucky, and a man with a little speaker in his ear and the vest with all the pockets came up to me and said, Ma'am, you might want to stop because you're about to run over former President Carter.
These seasoned travelers have seen it all, and you won't want to miss their wisdom and wild tales. My name's Palabo, and I gotta keep moving. See ya.
Radio Vagabond.
Produced by RadioGuru.co.uk.